Hello, everybody. Welcome. So we have a session on the RFA for LA CaTS RoadMap Scholar Program. I'm Vivian Fonseca. Joining me is Dr. Amanda Staiano, who's the the lead for Pennington on this program and is a former scholar, so she can answer a lot of questions that you may have about it. And also Michelle, who's a research navigator. So glad to see that you are interested in this program. This is part of LA CaTS, which stands for Louisiana Clinical and Translational Science Award, which is a program that we have here in Louisiana, for which there are many participants. The three lead institutions are Pennington, LSU, and Tulane. And our overall, I think probably our most important goal is to increase the clinical research being done, clinical and translational research being done in Louisiana, and improve the workforce knowledge about research and increase the number of people interested in doing clinical and translation research in Louisiana. So this program, as you will, that I will talk about in a moment, is very important in that context because we are partly training, we are encouraging research among junior faculty who can apply. And we usually take 3 people each year. You may see that the announcement says up to 4, but we can take more, but the participating institutions have to make some contributions because NIH doesn't give all the money. They match some funds that are given by the institution. So if you belong to an institution that is not contributing, it becomes very challenging to expect the other institutions to put in money for you. So we have the option of any institution who's contributing for one person to maybe have 2 or 3. I mean, that's fine. But then those decisions are not taken by me. They're taken by the dean. My role is to identify the appropriate candidates, rank them, and then submit it to the dean to make the final choice internally. And then we send it on to NIH, who have to approve it. So it's a little bit of a process, and I'll explain to you how we decide on that. So what is this? You have to be, first of all, faculty. So an issue that comes up very often are people who are not yet faculty. They've got some kind of verbal job offer, or they are postdocs hoping to get faculty. You are not eligible if you are not faculty. Now, if you are going to have a definite job offer, which means you have a letter stating that you will be on the faculty by June, then you are eligible. But we want to see that letter. We don't live on hope, unfortunately. You have to see the letter, and you want that letter to confirm that you are going to join the faculty. So what happens if you are on the faculty and you are selected to be a RoadMap scholar? The program protects 75% of your time for mentor-based research and training. So what that means is you have to have a mentor. Your mentor will need to submit all the details about himself or herself with your application, along with a letter committing for the time that the mentor will spend and what they plan to do to help you move along in your career. So usually the mentor is very involved in what happens, and we'll discuss that in more detail. So 75% of your time is protected. What happens to the other 25? That's between you and your department chair, whatever other work that you do, whether it's clinical or teaching or other research, administrative, that covers 25% of your time. That's between you and your chair. We are interested in the 75% that we are paying for, and we want to really show you we want to see that you are really protected, that time is protected. So if you have any difficulty with that, and you are the scholar, you need to tell me, and we will take it up with the department chair and dean. It's also, it's not 75% of $1 million salary. That, it's very limited, and I can't give you a precise figure because it varies by each of the three institutions. But it's somewhere in the ballpark of about 120,000. So if your salary is $1 million, then that 25% of time will need you to, in that time, earn almost $1 million, or near $1 million, $900,000 to make that up. So if you're $1 million earner, maybe this is not a program for you. So that is one limit. So there are two limitations. You have to be on the faculty, and you have to be aware of the protected time. Your chairman has to agree to that, and your dean. And those letters are absolutely essential with your application. There are a few other things that you've got to submit: NIH bio, your mentor's bio, and so on. What else do we give you for this? There's also an expectation that you get proper training, and this is really what NIH wants. They want to make sure everybody thinks they can do research. Their mentors think that they can also do research, and people like Dan and I learned it the hard way. We got in there, and we went and referred to books. We talked to people, made mistakes, lots of them, and along the way we kind of improved ourselves. Hopefully, at least that's what we like to think. You are getting trained by us on how to do things. And so there's a structured degree course run by Tulane called Masters of Science in Clinical Research. You will automatically enroll in that. You do not have to pay Tulane tuition. That is covered by the grant or whatever mechanism has been put in place for that. You don't have to worry about that. There are some expectations for that. You have to attend the classes. And we try to make it easy for you. They are usually held in the evening remotely, usually starting around 4 o'clock. There are some classes that are during the day. It's usually in the School of Public Health, the EPI course and the biostats course. They are less under my control, so we have to do that whenever they are willing to teach. Now, people at your stage in life who are or on the faculty might say, well, I know everything. Why do I need to attend class? Well, sorry, this is what this program is about. So if you are applying for it, you need to attend the class. There are some things in the class that I think are pretty useful. I mean, not all of us are trained in every aspect of doing research. So you might find a few classes boring and a few classes really what is ideal for you. Look at it, take the big picture. And there's another requirement, and this is a Tulane University requirement. In any master's program, you've got to get at least, is it a B plus, Michelle? At least a B plus in the exam. Now, we try to make the exams relatively simple. It's not our intention to fail people. You're already on the faculty. So we try to keep it simple, but there's some people who just don't show up for the exam. Well, then you fail, and then you got to drop out. And it has happened once. We don't want it to happen again. If you have taken some of these courses before and you can show credits either at Tulane or another university, maybe LSU, that you've taken an EPI course or biostats course, we can maybe get arranged to give credit. It's not my decision. We have to submit it to the basic medical science program at Tulane, and they usually are very flexible on that aspect. So you take these classes, you get an advantage of having a Tulane degree, which is worth a lot of money, and it's yours for life. And I think that helps you. That helps you when you go for further grants. So one of our aims is to push you along your career. The next step may be a K Award, which is also a career development. It's a progression from this before you become independent, totally independent. And if you apply for a K Award, you'll have to show what is your training and what kind of training you need to do. And if you show this or you're still doing it, that's a big plus. You may, so you don't have to worry about the tuition for this. Your mentor is also given about $10,000 per year for certain activities related to mentoring you. But there is unfortunately no money for you to actually do the research. You can't say my project's going to cost $200,000. Well, your mentor has to have a grant and have those expenses in there, and your mentor has to agree to that in writing upfront. So please have that discussion with your mentor that you're not going to get money to actually do research. I know this sounds like bad news. I did not come up with it. This is the way it is for this whole program, whether it's RoadMap Scholar type programs or K-12 programs at other institutions. They are all along the same kind of lines. You're on the faculty. You're helping with your salary, your protected time, which is actually quite generous. There is one additional bit of money, and that is towards travel. The travel budget is certainly sufficient to cover at least one thing which is mandated, which is attending the Association of Clinical and Translation Science meeting, which is held once a year, usually in the spring. It's every other year in Washington, D.C., and another time it's elsewhere. So this year it's in Wisconsin. Next spring it will be in Washington, D.C. That's also an opportunity for you to visit NIH and maybe also visit your Congress and talk to your congressman about allocating more money for you and your institution for the future. But we want you to attend this meeting to present an abstract. It's almost mandatory that you go and present. The advantage to you is you will meet other people at your stage in their careers from other institutions across the country. You will also meet several program officers from NCATS and NIGMS, as well as others who attend this program. And it gives you an opportunity to ask questions. They have mock study sections. They have certain other programs that allow you to participate in. It's a 2 to 3 day meeting. You will find it useful. So those are and then there may be some money still left over from that, and that you can use for traveling to any other professional travel that you need, maybe in your specialty. So, and most of the time, I know it's become very expensive to go to meetings, and our budget doesn't increase every year, but people have managed to go to 2 meetings. So those are the basic essentials of the program. Let me now tell you about our selection process. So we invite applications from everywhere, all over the state. Predominantly, we get applicants from the 3 major institutions because those are already, funding is guaranteed. So if you're from LSU, we don't want to send your thing for review. It's very hard to get outside reviews. We send your grant application to Tulane reviewers first. And if you're from Tulane, it goes to an LSU or Pennington reviewer. We look at the scores when they come back, and then we then get a second review. So back to your own institution. So if you're from LSU, your first review is from Tulane, then a second review internally at LSU. And then we take all the scores, we rank the candidates, and we will interview the top candidates. Now, interview is not like a job interview. It's more a discussion in more detail of what we're talking about today. Our expectations for you. You will ask your mentors to attend these as well. So later on, once you're selected, we'll have a meeting with your mentor to make sure that the mentor is on the same page with all the financial and other obligations. So it's a fairly rigorous process, a rigorous program involving training and doing research. And we measure our own success by you getting a grant by the time you graduate within 2 years or maybe in the subsequent year. There is no extension. If you haven't finished and you don't have a grant, you're back to where you are in your department and you keep trying. We measure our success, as I said, by you getting a grant, and we've had tremendous success. So if you go to the LA CaTS website, you will look at, you can see who our previous scholars are and how well they have done. And we hope that you will be up there, your name will be up there in the future. Now, there's one other step in this whole process. That is, finally, as I mentioned earlier, we'll make our selections and then give it to the deans who have to approve it, and then it goes to NIH. We hope to have this all done by maybe April, May, so that you are ready to start July 1. The reason for starting July 1 is the academic year, and we do have a course that is of 10 lectures, which is an introduction to clinical and translation research that I run, and a biostats 1, which we encourage you to do sometime during the summer. That makes it a lot easier for you to do the other courses. It's very hard for you to do epidemiology, for example, without knowing something about biostats. And certainly protocol writing, which is in the spring, requires a good knowledge of all these things that I'm talking about. So if you don't do that, you're going to fall behind. So we try and get this all done by the spring, and then have you join July 1. Michelle is your research navigator. You go to her for, whenever you have questions about how you can conduct research. You also have, and she will help you with this, a lot of resources that LA CaTS has to offer. So we have cores, for example. You can consult biostats internally at LA CaTS. You can consult with the community engagement core if you want patients to know about the research that you're doing. We have a health literacy core, and I think that is very important, something that's often neglected. So we have multiple cores like this that you have access to at no cost to you. So we do everything we can to facilitate you're doing your research, but you've got to do the work under the guidance of your mentor. Now, you could have more than one mentor. You can have mentors at other institutions, including out of state. We've had people do that before. We usually encourage those who have out of state primary mentors to at least have a very involved secondary mentor within your own institution. You need somebody you can go and talk to easily. And we can talk to easily if you are having problems. So those are the really core essentials of it. Michelle will guide you on any other things. Questions about classes, class scheduling. To some extent, Michelle, we also have Oriane, who works out some of the logistics. She works with the rest of the Tulane departments to make sure you get all your credits and other things so that you can graduate with this MSCR in a little while. We also have other cores, another important core, which is the clinical research resources, which runs our clinical trials units. So if you wanted to see patients or have somebody see patients for you, you can use that space, and you can use the coordinators there. Again, they will look to see whether they can fit that into your budget. I mean, they have to cost it out. But in general, we've been able to help scholars in the past. So let me ask Dan and Amanda if they have any additional comments.
I actually, unfortunately, have to leave in just a second because I've got to go give a lecture. But let's see, I notice Monica, Hannah, you both are at LSU. If you have any additional questions, please let me know. I work together, with Dr. Stano and Dr. Fonseca on the professional development core, but I'm the LSU rep. And so I am around the corner from you, right? But open to anybody, of course. But if you have any specific questions about the procedure that Dr. Fonseca is describing or anything else about the specifics of what maybe the reviewers might be looking for, especially the career development plan, collaboration with, your mentors, etc., just shoot me an email. Okay. All right. All right.
Before we get to Amanda, let me pick up on two things that you mentioned. I too am available to anybody at any of the institutions anytime. Just send me an email and we'll set up a call. The second thing is, and most important component is your application. You could have a wonderful project and wonderful idea, which would be great for an RO1, but this is about career development. So you've got to have a good career development plan. You've got to have a good mentorship plan, absolutely essential in your application. Amanda?
Yes. So these fellowships are really prestigious and considered highly by the NIH. So this is your opportunity to have NIH funding. And when reviewers review K award applications or future applications, this is a really nice feather in your hat to show progress, and that, we're investing in you and helping you along the way. I did RoadMap Scholar about 10 years ago and found it quite helpful. The core classes were helpful to me. And really, I'm a behavioral scientist, psychologist. And so, really understanding clinical trials and the phases of clinical trials and getting connected to various physicians across our healthcare networks in Louisiana was helpful and led me to some of the work I do now, which is primary care based child obesity treatment work. And so, this for me came at a really critical time as I was transitioning to become a brand new faculty member. I was a postdoc fellow at Pennington, but this helped me when I was a junior faculty to have some stable salary support for a couple of years and really protect my time to then compete for the larger grants with me as a PI. And so I'm really glad that you're on this call and that you're considering this opportunity. And what Dr. Fonseca said was genuine, that by joining this team, you get access not only to your own formal mentorship committee that you've developed that really provides content expertise, but then you'll get access to me, Dr. Fonseca, Dr. Capusta, and others throughout LCATS who are invested in your success. We follow scholars out to 10 years to show progress towards getting K awards, RO1s, publications, advanced faculty rank. And so we all really want to make sure that y'all are successful and have opportunities. And so glad you're part of this. The application does not give you very many pages for your project, but do your best to convey the significance, innovation, and just like a K award, what that training plan is going to look like, so that we know that this is really going to help you on your way. Don't be scared off by the coursework. Like I said, I found it valuable, even though I had been doing research a number of years. And there's opportunity to select electives too, to really customize based on what your needs are. And those courses also give you a chance to get to know the other scholars too, and to build more collaborations throughout the state. And with them being virtual, I think that's also helpful, although there is also opportunity to come in person for activities. And then you'll get to meet faculty at the different institutions.
We actually get requests from, after moving to virtual, that once in a way, all our scholars want to meet each other.
Yeah.
So we actually have a little demand for something that I thought everyone had forgotten about, which is in-person meetings. So, but let me say one or two other things, because this often comes up. I don't have enough money to do my project. Get that money committed by your mentor right up front, and we will talk about it with your mentor before you actually start. And the second is, of course, we all hate going to class when you're a faculty member. I like going to classes because it's a great, in med school, it's a great opportunity to sleep. We don't, as adults, we don't like going to class. But I wish there were classes that would have taught me all these things. I learned on the fly from my co-investigators. When I was a fellow, my co-fellows, we didn't have computers or an internet to read up anything. You had to read old books and biostats books and really teaching ourselves. And it was really hard. So here you'll have an opportunity to work with biostatisticians, epidemiologists, people who are experts in their own field, and see how to get it done right. So I have a whole bunch of frequently asked questions that have been sent in the past, and now we'll go through them. But before we do that, some of you may have immediate questions. Just unmute yourself and ask away.
Thank you so much. This was very helpful. I do have a couple of questions. So the first one is about the offer letter that we would have to have. Does that offer letter have to be signed by us, or does it just need
Signed by your dean and chair.
Okay, and then me as well?
Well,
I'm just saying, like, if the first offer letter is offered, since it's just a short timeline now, if I wanted to try for negotiations or something.
I think that you need to realize that you've got to be on the faculty.
Mm-hmm.
So if the time to negotiate is now. If you're not
Right.
getting a
Okay.
good enough offer, don't take it.
Okay.
We don't want to consider you if you're not sure that you want that job, because then we will
Of
have
course.
no roadmap scholar from LSU, and we don't want that.
Right. Yes. Okay. I was just thinking since the start date would still be further away, there's more
You
time,
got
but
time. You got time, but you know, we want to see that letter before we actually offer you. You could say it's
of course.
pending. I have had a verbal offer. It's pending when you put in your application this month. But before if we choose you to be the number one, we're
Mhm.
not going to move forward with submitting that unless we have that letter.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And then the second one is when looking at money for the project that we would be proposing, is it allowed to have that money come from startup funds, or does it have to come from the mentor?
We are not going to be auditing you. You just don't ask us for more money. We are not going to
Okay.
provide the money. And, you know, that's the way the grant is written. That's the way NIH wants this to happen. I have no control over it. So if you've got startup funds and you're dean or somebody's giving you startup funds, that's great. But there are other sources. So there are, for example, pilot grants within LA CaTS. There are pilot grants within the Cobras that we are fortunate to have. There are ADA, AHA, Cancer Society give out small grants. We encourage you to do that and get those on one condition, and that is NIH does not want you to use the same project to get those grants, especially NIH-funded pilot grants. That's double dipping. So if you can come up with another idea that gives you money, and if there's not much fat in money grants nowadays, but especially these small grants. But if you can, it helps you do what you have to do, I'm happy. Okay. Anybody else have an immediate question, or should we move on to the frequently asked questions?
So thank you very much for very nice explanations. I have a question that as I'm working as a research scientist too since last 3 years, and on the J1 visa. So is I'm eligible for that? Like if I have
So
been.
that's a very good question that often comes up. We do not have a requirement that you have to be a citizen or a green card holder. However, our goal is for you to get the next grant. And many of those next grants you are not eligible for till you are either a citizen or have a green card. So take a case. There are two cases that do allow non-citizens, but that greatly decreases the availability of grant funding to you. And that will be looked at by the reviewers. The reviewers may say, this is a great guy, project is good, but I'm really concerned. I mean, is he going to, be eligible? Personally, my preference is for me to see that you have a plan to get around that J1, get that waiver. You could put that. I will be, I have a J1, put that in your application, but I'm already negotiating a J1 waiver. Another thing, J1 waiver is given as a training visa. So you're probably a PhD student or a postdoc. That's allowed. You're not going to be able to join the faculty, which is a prime requirement, unless you get that waived. So, there are many catch-22s here. And we don't want you to be negotiating with ICE or somebody else on July 1 saying, I need my waiver, because that's a problem. You've got to be on the faculty. So if you were to tell me today that your waiver is pending and you are going to get it by June 30th, I will be very skeptical.
Yeah, actually since January 2025, the waiver is not required because of, like, in my visa it is written that the 212 rules doesn't apply.
Okay,
so
that's between you and your institution.
Yeah.
If your institution is willing to take you on the faculty without a waiver, that's up to them.
So during the application, I must need to submit the offer letters from
Absolutely. Signed by the dean.
and the mentor.
Well, the mentor is not making you an offer. The mentor is helping you with your research.
Okay.
It's your department chair and the dean who are giving you the offer. They need to sign off on it. And if they sign off on it and your immigration status is not right, that's their problem, not yours and mine.
Yeah.
And it also cannot be contingent on receiving this award either.
Yeah.
That's
Some
an
chairs
NIH
will tell you
rule.
that. If you get this award, I will give you a faculty position. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me go through the list of questions that was sent in. How often are RoadMap scholars awarded? It's once a year. That's easy. How do you find out about further details and announcements? Go to the LA CaTS website, as I said. If you look under funding and training opportunities, you will see these, and you'll see other funding opportunities, such as the pilot grants, etc. How many scholars are awarded? I've already told you, one from each institution. We have the possibility of having others, but you've got to find funding. So let me give you examples of those. People from other universities in the state have applied. They've had reasonable applications, but their institutions have subsequently said, sorry, we'd like you to get this, but we don't have money to put in. We're not committing. And that is a problem. So once again, eligibility, you have to have an MD, PhD, DDS, or PharmD, and be a junior faculty by June this year. And for those who are not, and we also have other people who could take that master's program and find other means to do it. So you could still do the program, but you may have to pay Tulane tuition if you're not getting a tuition waiver from Tulane. Who reviews? I think we've talked about this, so I'll skip over that. When will you be informed of the decision? Our aim is to give you the announcement, typically 2 months following the submission deadline. You'll get an email for those who were successful, and once they accept it, after that, we'll notify those who were not successful, give them their reviews. And in the last year, we've been having a further town hall meeting like this to discuss what their other opportunities might be. And that could include maybe attending the classes, doing some other programs, etc. Will all applicants receive the comments from the reviewers? Yes, we will give them back. So start and end dates, July 1, and the total is 2 years. There is no opportunity for either any form of extension, including no cost extensions. Are appendices allowed? Appendices are allowed for documents such as manuscript reprints, letters, IRB approvals, questionnaires, and these do not count towards your page limit for the research plan. Similarly, references are not counted. So you will have just your research plan, which includes your career development plan and mentoring plan within the limit. Are biosketches required for each mentor? The answer is yes. NIH style biosketches, and you should use the NIH template. Scroll down here. Is the Master of Science for Clinical Research degree and certificate open to others who are not supported by LA CaTS? And the answer is yes. But if you actually want a degree and certificate, you may have to pay Tulane tuition or get a waiver. One important question: before you can submit your application, do you need it routed by your research office? And the answer is no. You just submit it directly to careerdevel@lacats.org. That email address is on the website. So just check that and submit it. Any further questions about the submission process, please contact Michelle or me. Will the RoadMap Scholar provide or allow indirect costs? And the answer is no. It's only direct costs, but the The three institutions that I've mentioned will not expect indirect costs, so you don't need to worry about it. We are now instituting something about which has been instituted but not enforced before, is that a mentorship agreement form. And we want each mentor and scholar to complete the mentorship agreement form. You do not need any form for a consultant, but it's certainly, if somebody's listed as a mentor, the agreement is important. I think this is very important. There's a lot of discussion going on about what makes a good mentor and how we can build mentorships. It's a big challenge. We are all small institutions. We don't have many mentors, but there are still enough people around. And as I said, you can get an external mentor and have a secondary mentor over here, or your primary mentor can have, and you could be here and you work with external mentors elsewhere. Having an agreement lays out what exactly we want. So just to give you a very brief example, what I recommend is you keep a spreadsheet. Your date of meeting with the mentor, what was discussed, what are the action items, and then another column of what you did. If you have that and you keep building this spreadsheet over time, it's very easy for you to present. Now, we'll have annual reviews of our scholars, 6 monthly reviews actually with Michelle, and then annual reviews with all of us. Your mentor will be present. All you have to do is show that, and there's no questions will be asked. So it makes it easy for you, and it also helps you and your mentor in their relationship of having it structured. So does each school institution choose their candidates internally and put them forward, or can anybody apply? In general, we don't get into this issue. Some in the past, I know Pennington has always put up one person, but there have been times when they've put up more than one. So we don't have a strict rule about this. We've had large numbers apply from Tulane and LSU it varies year by year. We encourage as many people as possible to apply.
And that's the same now at Pennington. We would encourage anyone to apply.
Is there a limit to the number of mentors? The answer is no limit, but everyone has to put in their bio sketches and meet regularly. So all that needs to be in the plan. I see little point of having, 5 mentors or whatever. Usually people list 3, 1 primary and 1 or 2 secondary ones. Are there restrictions on the number of years an investigator has been a faculty member? Does years out of school affect eligibility? It doesn't affect us, but years out of school does impact eligibility for other awards, particularly a K award or some types of K awards. Bear in mind that you will now be 2 years older from your next grant, and you might lose this early career advancement opportunities. So bear that in mind when you're applying. So here's a question. I'm currently a senior postdoc at LSU Health. I'm wondering whether I would be eligible if I'm considered for the faculty position. By the time of the award, it's not clear. What information do I need to provide? You need to have a letter stating that you are hired by your department chair no matter what. So they have to, you can legally claim that you have this job. That they say that you will be starting July 1. July 1, you have a job. They can't get rid of you easily. Here's a question that my mentor is also my department chair. How do I handle this? I think one letter is sufficient. That letter should state very clearly, I am both the department chair, I approve this, and I'm a mentor, and this is what I will do. Just a few questions about the the actual application? Is it 11 point? Is the font required? Is that required for tables and figures as well? I think tables and figures could be 10 point. All other text should be 11 point. Is the 3-page limit for the research proposal, including specific aims, page 1 for specific aims and page 2 for the rest, significance, innovation, and research approach. You could have, you just need to stick with three pages. Most people will take a whole page for their specific aims. But if you do it in less, you have more space for the other, that's okay. You can have as many references as you want. Those do not count. What about preliminary data? It's allowed. It should be part of the 3 pages, unless you've already published, in which case you can refer to the publication and you can, if you like, attach it as an appendix. There is no requirement of when you have previously obtained your PhD, but that might limit your ability to get other grants or get priority for other grants. Those are all the questions that we have sent in. I'll open it up again. Please unmute yourself if you have other questions. I see there's something in the chat. Let me look at. Okay, that's somebody leaving, that's all. Okay. Anyone else have questions? All right. I think we look forward to receiving your applications.
Thank
Have
you
a good
so
one.
much. Right. Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
sharing
attending.
all the questions. Let's helpful. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Michelle
you.
and Amanda. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.